What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scooby-Doo Sus video. In today's video, we are going to be checking out my top 5 favorite episodes from the new Scooby-Doo show. Now, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that this is only from the Dynamite Hour incarnation. So this is only those like 20-some episodes from that incarnation. So this does not include Scooby-Doo Where Are You Season 3, Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics, and I think there's one other one. This is only from the Dynamite Hour, and I'll be doing Scooby-Doo Where Are You Season 3 for my next video, because I'm kind of doing them separate. So, also, this is top 5 because this is probably my favorite season of Scooby-Doo. The Scooby-Doo show was probably, in my opinion, was the best series there was. Now, I know a lot of people think that the original ones were, and yes, those were great, but this, in my opinion, was just the best. So, that's why I can only choose 5 that I really, really liked, but I liked all of them. And yeah, so these are the 5 that I liked a lot. So if you guys do enjoy this video, do remember to hit that like button, and as always, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a bunch. I'll be coming out with this videos all the way up until the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, and then after that I'll be doing more Scooby-Doo videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Coming in at number 5 is the Ghost of the Bad Humor Man, and there's several reasons why this made number 5 on the list. This is probably one of my, or obviously it's one of my favorite episodes, but why I really like this episode was the costumes. I thought that the costumes of these monsters was very creative, and considering the fact that they're in an ice cream factory and their ice cream flavors, that was pretty cool too. Pretty smart, actually, I should say. And also, the other thing that I really liked about this episode was that at the beginning of the episode, there was a scene where you were by the Mystery Machine, and you can hear on the radio of the Mystery Machine, if you pay close attention, about the missing armored car carrying however many million of dollars, and you have millions. Excuse me for not millions of dollars. So you have to be paying really close attention to notice that, and then you have to put 2 and 2 together to kind of figure this out, and that's what the gang did, and that's how they figured it out. But for you as a viewer, if you can put 2 and 2 together to make 4, then you can understand really what's happening, and you can understand like the whole plot of the whole episode. So that's what I liked about that episode, was the way that they kind of gave you a hint at the beginning, and then also how you could kind of that you can figure it out on your own if you really were observant. And so yeah, I mean, and also the plot, like I said, was great in this episode, and the setting was pretty scary too. I mean, a creepy old ice cream factory, who would not be afraid of that. Anyway, let's move on to number 4. Coming in at number 4 is the Fiesta's Ghost is an Aztec Host. And there may be some bias with this being on my top 5 favorite, because some people would argue that this was not a very good episode, but I think maybe why I could be a bit biased was this was the first episode I had ever seen from the Scooby-Doo show, and that's maybe why it sticks out to me. But yeah, basically, what I liked about this episode was the costumes I thought were very creative, and I was actually scared to death of these two, or those two in the last scene. Monsters when I was younger, and they just creeped the heck out of me. But yeah, and then also like the whole scheme with stealing the I can't even remember what they called them, but the Aztecs treasure, I think is what they called it, and then taking those downriver. I mean, that was pretty smart, honestly, and the place where they kept them and all that. That was a pretty smart scheme that they had going there, and then to scare everybody out so they couldn't find them, couldn't figure out what was going on, which that's about the same thing for every Scooby-Doo episode. But I thought that plot was really cool and really actually kind of, I could see that happening in real life. Also, the ghosts were scary. I think I already said that. And then the setting was actually, most of it took place in the pyramid, and I mean that's really one of the only older Scooby-Doo episodes that take place in a pyramid. So that was pretty cool too. But that is why it made number 4. Coming in at number 3 is What a Shocking Ghost, and most people would argue that this was the best episode from the new Scooby-Doo show. Now, yes, it was amazing. Yes, the costume was amazing, very creative. The plot was outstandingly creative and actually made a lot of sense, and the clues and everything. This was just overall a great episode. I mean, the two ahead of it may have a bit of bias to them, but this was a great episode, I will not lie. This was a really great episode. And its rewatchability is really good, because I could watch this episode quite a bit and not get bored of it. But there was one thing that I didn't necessarily like that much, and that was kind of the whole how the what's his name disappeared. I can't remember he was the electrician that ended up being the I think it's the I don't even remember what it's called. It's the something volt ghost. I don't know the number volt, but the way that he disappeared, that was like, well, it's obviously him then. Like that kind of pointed that out to me, but maybe not many people think the way I do, I guess. But that's one thing I didn't like about this episode. But overall, this was an outstanding episode. 9.5 out of 10 for a rating. And yeah, this just and here you can see the scene of where they caught him, and I mean the suit was just amazingly done. But anyway, let's move on to number 2. Coming in at number 2 is the Harem Sanitarium. Now this is number 2 for only one reason, and one reason only. That is due to how creepy this episode really is. This episode is absolutely terrifying, and it actually, I still cannot watch this episode at night. Like, honestly, that's how scary it is. So, basically, the reason, I mean, the ghost is creepy. It's a ghost of a mad doctor. I mean, what else could be scary? His assistant, I mean, he looks creepy. And, I mean, the whole plot is just absolutely terrifying. How they have gold bars that they're sneaking over the border, but they're using wigs to disguise them as patients. And that's just horrible. That's just so creepy. I mean, what's not creepy about that? So that is really the only reason why this one made the list. I do enjoy this episode a lot. This was another one that was one of the first episodes that I'd ever seen from the new Scooby-Doo show. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this just terrifies me. It still does, which is pretty sad, but it does. So yeah, let's move on to number 1. Coming in at number 1 is the Spirits of 76. Now this might have a bit of bias to this because this was one of the first the new Scooby-Doo show episodes that I had seen. But what I really liked about this episode was it was creepy, number 1, and number 2 was the history. I mean, set in the Smithsonian Museum with the 3, I can't even remember what they're, generals and presidents, mostly presidents. And I mean, I just thought that was all so creative, and this was just overall a great episode. The scheme was great, the plot was great, everything was just amazing, so that is why this made number 1. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this top 5 list. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy it. If you guys did, always do remember to hit that like button, and always do remember to hit that subscribe button. Help us out a bunch, guys. If you guys' list are similar to these or are different, comment anything down below. I love to read your comments. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, which should be my top 5 or 10 favorite episodes from Scooby-Doo Where Are You Season 3.